So our first question today is about successes and failures at university. That's kind of the theme of our whole roundtable. And I wanted to ask all of you how your definition of success as a student has changed since you started university.
Oh, so much.
Yeah, a lot.
So I was a creative industry student when I first came to TMU. And then I was like, yes, let's go, life planned out. And then I was working through all of the stuff in creative industries. It's a good program, but I realized that it didn't match my learning style. And having that realization of, oh no, I want to switch my program was kind of like a, oh my God. My life plan isn't going exactly as I designed it in high school at 17. Who would have foreseen?
Like coming out of high school, I thought I had my life planned out as well. I ended up switching my major a lot. Like I was admitted to university to do like poli-sci and French. Then I switched to econ and French. Then I switched to philosophy and French. Then I dropped French and I kept philosophy. Then I switched to universities. So I always I thought that these made me failures, but I just learned so much about myself along the way. I learned what works best for me in terms of studying, and I also thought that success for me meant being at the top of my class. For me, just getting an A wasn't enough if 50 other people got an A+. So I was stuck in this loop of comparison, which was draining in and of itself, but I learned that I'm on my own journey and not to watch people around me, and just take my experiences as they come and just appreciate that I'm on my own path.
Similar to what you said, if the result of what I was doing isn't what I expected, then I don't feel successful. But I think throughout my university career, kind of just changing that measure instead of focusing on the result, kind of just taking a step back and looking at the whole picture and the journey and how I can use that to my advantage and how that can make me successful.
Yeah. When I first started, the definition of success I had in my mind was you need to get a 4.33 every semester. That's the only way you're successful. But I think halfway through my first semester, I realized there's a lot more to university life than just go to class, get your grades, get out of the university. So that's when I started exploring others, extracurriculars, getting involved on campus. And also, your program gives you the skills you need in your career, but you also need the soft skills. So that's when I started exploring. I think that's when my definition of success changed, because I don't think we're going to get these chances once we're out of university. So that I feel that's completely switched the script. But
Well, yeah, especially at TMU, the resources you get while you're in school are so much different to what you have access in high school. And it teaches you so much about the advantage of this community that you don't realize when you're not in it. And, I think it's so much easier said than done to be oh, don't worry, success will come, it'll look different for everybody. But there's a real growing pains there that I think the community we have here really helped me with those kind of shifts when I was redefining what success meant to me.
I thought success, I tied success to being busy. And I realized that that's not what success is. I thought I had to be in every course union, at every student event, and then I would burn out. And then I realized that it's just better to go with what resonates with me rather than trying a million different things, because I thought that was what was what's expected of me being in university. So just, not putting myself in too many situations, just curating what I get involved in.
Okay, I'm going to use the term failure here, but very, very lightly, because I know you're all excellent students, and I think we can kind of deconstruct this term a little bit. But I want you to think about a time where you had to be resilient after experiencing a failure. And can you tell me a little bit about what that might have taught you?
In one of my semesters, I started taking up a lot just because I'm there's a lot of opportunities. I'm just going to take everything I can get. So that semester I was doing 6 courses and 7 extracurriculars. And I failed a course. That was my first time failing a course. The first time I got the news, I was this is it. This is the end of my university journey, all that drama. But I spoke to a few people, realized it's not the end of the world, and it never really is that serious. I think something I realized is failing a course is not the end of the world. It's not the worst thing that can happen. You can always redo it. And the other thing that taught me is that just because you can, don't take everything. You have to prioritize what you can and what actually matters to you, and then see how much time you have. And you can't do everything. You can't have it all.
Yeah, I think I also fell into these 6 courses a semester trap a couple semesters ago.
Crazy.
I don't know what I was thinking.
Oh my gosh. Because I'd be so exhausted, I would get so frustrated with myself of why can't I keep, doing as well as I did when I wasn't working 2 jobs and also taking 5 courses. Like I kept blaming myself for not having that energy and having that infinite amount of resources to not burn out. But I think it was an important lesson for me to learn as a student is it's like, okay, this is my situation. How do I prioritize what I care about so that I can reach the goals I want?
I think for me, something that was really difficult was, I think it was in my 2nd or 3rd year, I dropped from full-time to part-time, and this happened to me like 2 semesters back to back. So kind of just having that conversation with myself, like, what are you aiming for right now, and is what you're doing or what you're taking on actually helping you reach that goal successfully? Which at the time it wasn't, and I had to make that tough decision to drop my classes, which was really hard for me because I felt like I had to accept something that I didn't really sign up for. Like I didn't come to be a part-time student, but it was just a circumstance of the situation, so I really had to reevaluate how I was going about things.
I feel like, especially in really intense academic spaces, there's such like a stigma almost about taking a step back. And it's like, well, but like, sometimes that's what you need. And so like, I think it takes a lot of courage too to know that about yourself and to take that step. So I'm really happy you had that journey.
Thank you. I'm actually happy. I'm happy for all of us. Like I feel like all of our like experiences probably haven't been the way we thought it would be, but I think there's so much opportunity in that and like a space for growth. So
there's nothing wrong also with taking more than 4 years to complete university. I thought that I had to finish. Well, my program is it was a 3-year program, and I'm in my 5th year. There's nothing wrong. It was also part-time at a certain point in time too as well, and I felt so bad taking 5 years to complete. But you know, it is what it is. I'm on my own journey, so just accepting that too.
It's all downhill from here.
Don't say that. Oh my gosh.
No, you don't know how good life is going to get, okay? Well, what I was going to say is I really like about all your answers that even times when you experienced failure, it wasn't, I think you didn't take it as a personal comment on your intelligence. I think sometimes in university it feels like a bad grade is like a comment on what you're capable of, but all of you understood that was like, had something to do with time management or taking on a lot. It wasn't about, like who you are as a person or what you could do if you were in a different setting. So I like to think about time as an equity issue. By that, I mean that depending on your identity, the different responsibilities you have in your lives, and even your values, you might feel like you experience time differently, or you have, literally different amounts of time to do your schoolwork, or make decisions about how you spend your time. So I would love to hear from each of you about how you feel like your identity or your personal values impacts your experience of time.
Yeah, so I'm in school full-time. I take 5 courses, and I also work 2 part-time jobs. So I have to be like very meticulous about planning my schedule and making sure that I have time for friends. And something that I value is being like a dependable person, someone that's true to their word. So if I say that I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. So in order to achieve this, like I just have to keep my schedule intact, like add everything to my schedule, and then also keep like a daily planner too as well to ensure that I'm sticking to those values and that I'm like avoiding burnout and making sure that I'm not like putting too much into one job and then neglecting other areas of my life too as well.
Community is very important, like my friends and my family and just the interactions I have even on like a daily basis. Sometimes the boundaries between like my priorities and like keeping up with my family and my friends and like opportunities that I may be interested in can kind of be a little bit blurred. If I see that my friends are going out and I have a big assignment due, sometimes I kind of make the wrong decision and I'll spend less time studying just to go out or something. So again, it is kind of hard. If I start like just kind of going wherever I want based off of how I feel in the moment, there might be a time where I look around and I realize like I'm not supposed to be here right now. I have to be doing something else. So I think like just kind of holding myself accountable, writing things down, not making promises I can't keep. Like that's another big thing. It takes a little bit more work, but it's definitely doable.
For sure, because like being a student is only one part of a person's identity. Like I am a student, but I'm also, an out-of-province student. I'm also an RA. Like I have other parts of my life that will affect how much time I have and like how I approach this time management thing. Especially like when I think back to first year when I was working those 2 jobs and taking 5 courses, it was like, okay, I know that I'm going to have less time than someone who has other means to pay for their university or has, you know, a different level of support, you know, if they live in province or a commuter. But at the same time, it's like you can't get caught up in that. You have to think of what you can do with what you do have.
Speaking of comparisons, I feel like sometimes it's very easy for us to start comparing ourselves to like people that are in our courses, especially maybe like if you're doing the assignment, it might just take someone 30 minutes and it might take me 2 hours. That's, again, we can't compare ourselves because this person might have like several years of experience in the same course and you might not. And even some people just like to think it all out and then start doing the work. So I think it's also how people approach work changes how you experience time. And again, like all of you mentioned, all of us have jobs, priorities change, and all of us value community, but also like we have to value our own personal time. So finding that right balance between school, work, community, and personal time.
Yeah. And I'd say like figuring how to balance everything is not like linear. It's never gonna look the way you expect it to. So kind of just giving yourself a little bit of grace and like figuring out what that looks like for you is very important.
It can take years. Really can take
I'm
years.
still working on it, guys.
Yeah, literally.
Well, the funny thing about time is sometimes spending more time on something in like a literal time way doesn't actually mean that you did a better job of it. If you're, you know, not feeling good enough for that to be like high quality work or study time.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, are there any kind of, I guess, self-care or kind of personal well-being things that you make time for in your day that you feel like actually kind of like increase the value of your time when you are working?
I would say keeping my space clean. Again, something I'm working on. Sometimes like my space isn't the most organized, but I have things in place to help me get there, and it's just pushing myself to do that. You know what I mean? So in the morning, making sure that like when I'm picking out what to wear, I'm not just throwing things on the floor, I'm putting them back. Like something just as simple as that. Like it can make such a big difference in how I show up for myself and how ready I feel to take on my responsibilities.
For me, that looks like in the morning taking care of myself before other people. So I like to take like at least 5 minutes after I wake up to just be in silence and meditate before I start worrying about the things that I have to do during the day. And that just helps me to like start my day feeling more centered and not with thoughts going all over the place. Like I can take care of that 5 minutes after, like just having these first initial moments when I'm just waking up to myself.
I just like shut everything down, take a walk, touch some grass, come back. And then even after I'm back, I'll take some time and then actually write down what I've done so far and what I need to do next and then break it down.
No, I'm stealing that. I'm stealing the writing down what you've done so far because I think it's so easy to get trapped in the like, oh, I have so much more to do that you forget what you've done.
Yeah.
Or like maybe you're spending too much time on one thing and that forces you to realize that. So I am taking that. That is mine now. Thank you so much.
In psychology, they talk about this concept of like flow state. That is where your productivity is at its peak and you're just flowing through it. Like you're performing at your peak for the longest time. Something I've tried to do was that I kind of try to understand when I get into my flow states. That could be just me getting a coffee, sitting down, putting on music, and then I know I'm at my best so I can get things done at the best and the fastest. So I think realizing when I get into my flow state also helps.
Okay, exam season. I like to think about how, you know, your exam grades and your test grades, they're not necessarily a measure of your intelligence or your potential. Maybe you have felt this before, but instead they're really just measuring your ability to understand and then perform an academic behavior desired of you. So something that your professor wanted you to learn. I'm curious to know, what does this idea mean to you? Does it resonate with you? And then how would this kind of idea impact advice you might give to a first-year student about taking their first university exam?
No. Yes, this idea of exams being kind of like not a measure of your personal intelligence is like something that is like speaks to my core, I think, because like coming out of high school, I was like very high achieving in high school, like honors, you know, distinction, all these things, which is great. Very good job, me. But I think when I came to university, and it was a business exam, I'll never forget, my business 100, I got the exam grade back, and it wasn't an 80. It was below an 80, and I just about lost my mind. I was like, oh my God, I'm a failure. And it was like a whole thing. But I think you have to find different ways to measure your personal success beyond that.
For me, that means that I shouldn't tie my self-worth to my grades, which is something that I used to do. Like, again, I'm like a very high achiever. I always want to get like an A. I think we all like want to perform well. So like I would put a lot of pressure on myself, and then I wouldn't value the learning as much as the outcome, when the journey is equally as important as me getting an A. Like, what did I learn about myself? What did I learn about what worked in terms of studying while I was doing the work? And it really helped me like adopting the mindset of this is not a reflection of like me as a person or what I can achieve later on in life. Helped me to like adopt more of like a growth mindset than a fear of failure. Because when I have a fear of failure, I find that it paralyzes me from doing the work, and it prevents me from being retrospective. Like if I fail the test, I wouldn't want to look back at it to see what I did wrong, because I'm like, I just want that out of the way. Like I want to move on, and then not taking the time to look over what I did wrong and like finding out what didn't work would prevent me from growing as a student. So just taking all of these into consideration helped me to stop being so self-deprecating when I didn't perform as well as I wanted to, and really helps me to grow and learn more about myself and what works for me as a student too as well.
Yeah. I do think that like you said, like it's kind of something that everybody has to learn at one point. Like it's inevitable. You come into university trying to make sure you have like the highest grades to get into whatever you want. And sometimes it feels like you could just be a number. Then you come into class, and then the classes are so big. You know, you're just known by your student number. Every email followed by your name has to be your student number. It's very easy to fall into this mindset of like, numbers are all that matter. But I think, it's very important to detach yourself from that, but also not trying to lessen the value of doing well in school and trying to be successful, because, you know, you're still in school, you know, like you said, the grades are going to take you somewhere, but it doesn't mean everything. Like nowadays, people really emphasize like networking or just putting yourself out there, you know, being open to new interactions, and that can take you a very long way. But, you know, just that balance, you know, I don't want to say like one is better than the other, but again, like a 50 on an exam is not a 50 in life, you know, so.
And say it again for the people in the back, I think. It's like,
50 on an exam is not a 50 in life, because, you know, school is temporary, but like, you know, your relationship with yourself is forever. So really maintaining that is very important.
I love that. That's such a good insight.
It's hard to follow. I think that maybe brings us to our conclusion. Thank you so much for sharing all of your wisdom and your experience. I feel like you all definitely, for students who are still in school, are able to really zoom out and see the big picture and understand the way that failure is like, you know, part of a journey. It's actually part of learning. And I think you're all very wise for being able to see that. So I appreciate you all sharing. Thank you for tuning in. Stay tuned for more videos like this one. You can like or subscribe. I don't know where the button would be. Thank you.